Hello, hello, hello. This is Dr. Paula Fellingham, and welcome to this webinar. I'm so glad you're here. I love the opportunity to teach. I love teaching. I love sharing my heart with those who are learning, are on the same path that I have been on for so many years. I've actually been teaching and performing, and our family performed for 12 years professionally, and speaking and coaching and mentoring for over 30 years. So I'm almost 68, and I wrote my first presentation at age 27, so I've been doing this a long time. We're going to talk about how to make your coaching programs more successful. And I want to thank you right at the beginning for being here, for sharing your time with me, and for coming. And I want to let you know that you can email me with your personal questions, pfellingham@gmail.com. That's the easiest one. I appreciate again you coming and your desire to improve your coaching ability. Thank you so much. Also, when I speak, I'm going to be talking about coaching worldwide, because in the last 3.5 years, I've been to 17 countries, putting on global women's summits and coaching and mentoring the women in all these nations. And I'm in contact with women in 152 nations, and that is because way back with the Women's Information Network, way back in 2011, seems like yesterday, and sometimes it seems like decades ago, in 2011, the Women's Information Network, in collaboration with many other women's organizations, we presented 377 live events in 152 countries. So I had ballrooms of women in New York, Atlanta, Baltimore, then down in Miami, Dallas, Denver, San Francisco, and I was in LA. We live streamed out, and then we also live streamed out to 369 other events all over the world in a 3-day period because of the dateline. So I've had these wonderful opportunities to speak and to travel and to touch hearts and change lives all over the world, as my heart has been touched deeply and changed. And I've learned so much from the women of the world and the men, but we're focusing, the Women's Information Network, of course, focuses on women. And I've learned so much from them. I have mentors all over the world. So let's jump in to our presentation, How to Make Your Coaching More Successful. And I want to begin by letting you know that many coaches today, I've learned, are not as strong in their personal lives as they need to be truly highly effective mentors for others. And so I'm going to spend about the first 20 minutes sharing life-changing principles that may be loving reminders for you, but these principles need to be understood and lived if you are going to be the most effective, highly successful coach that you can be. So I often meet with wonderful people who are coaches, but they aren't as effective as they could be as coaches because they have some parts of their life really broken. And that needs to be fixed before you can, in integrity, really be a mentor for others in their lives. I'm thinking you probably agree with that. And I'm so glad that you are with me, and I'd love to share some of these truths that I've learned and I've taught in these last 35 years of my life. So I've taught these principles and many more in nations worldwide under an umbrella called Total Life Excellence, because I help people in every part of their lives. There are 7 areas of everyone's life. It's mental, physical, emotional, social, spiritual, financial, and relational. And so because I've been writing so long, and I'm working on my 7th book, and I have created guidebooks and modules and courses and DVDs and CDs for all these 35 years, I have a plethora of content. And so I put it under the umbrella of Total Life Excellence. And I believe that as a coach, because our lives are so integrated, because if you're obese, you can't usually women don't have the confidence and the, just the confidence. That's really it, to be as effective as they could, because they are always nagging and thinking, oh, I should lose this weight. If you are, at your optimal weight, and yet you struggle financially, that's tough. If you have wonderful, you have all that you need, you live financially very abundantly, you have a lot of abundance financially, but your relationships are weak or very poor, or, in some cases you can't forgive, you don't know how to let go of the blame and the resentment and the envy and all those things, then you're not going to be as effective of a leader / coach / mentor. So I've learned that, and we know that our lives are so integrated. You can't just teach someone, if you're going to be the most successful coach, you can't just teach them how to find their passion. And you help them find their passion. So many coaches do this, and that's fine. That's a beginning. But then what? You help them set goals, you teach, you do so many things that I'm going to talk about. But it begins with that person understanding that they need to be on the path to total life excellence if they're going to live their best lives. And of course, that's what we're all striving for, right? To live our best lives. The motto of the Women's Information Network is, we are women helping women live our best lives. And I've had that for a very, very long time. My personal mission is to strengthen women and families worldwide through education, enlightenment, and entrepreneurship in an effort to eradicate illiteracy, poverty, and hunger, and to increase the level of love, prosperity, and peace on earth. And so I am right now in the middle of a wonderful implementation of a global prosperity and peace initiative. And the mission is the same as mine. Of course, I'm the director of both of these entities, and this mission must be the same. And it's the last part, to increase the level of love, prosperity, and peace on earth. And I believe that's divine. I know that's divine. The world is so ready for this, and they're ready for you. They're ready for leaders. They're ready for people who are ready to step up in confidence with their shoulders back and their chins raised, saying, we can do this. We can lift the level of love, prosperity, and peace in the world. I know we can. And I'd love to invite you to check out prosperityandpeaceinitiative.org. And I'd love to invite you to participate in that. And that's a little aside, but I do want to let you know that as you are coaching, as you are a mentor, connecting, collaborating, and working with other people who are also on your path, who are mentors and coaches and collaborators, you want to do this worldwide as much as you can, because the field is ripe, all ready to harvest. The time is now. There is a beautiful awakening and a rising of the people of the world, very fast-moving and far-reaching. And it permeates every nation, all 196 nations on the planet. So I invite you to think big, to think about how can I coach not just one or two, which is important to coach one or two, but if you can use your same principles, your same methods, your same teachings, and coach thousands and hundreds of thousands. And think of the reach that Tony Robbins and others have, millions. And so you think, what is it that I want to do? And spend some personal time thinking about that. What do I want to do with my skills as a coach? Maybe you're very happy with 1 or 2 or 5 or 10, and that's all you want. That I applaud you for that. That's your passion. I'd love to invite you to consider that with using the same amount of time, because of the miracles of being online and creating videos, creating webinars, and connecting with many, many, that you might be able to consider going global. I love that. All right. So Total Life Excellence, I want to come back to that because that's actually a program with all its modules and content and DVDs and CDs that you could actually license and use all this as if it's your own. So you could email me if that's interesting to you, pfellingham@gmail.com, and let me know that you are interested, you'd like to learn more. But this Total Life Excellence, it's like the pursuit of happiness. There's never a moment where you're going to say every thought, every word, every action, I have total excellence. We're on the path. We're striving. But isn't it wonderful to, as mentors, strive toward total life excellence and be working on those different things as we also teach them to others with love and kindness. All right. I just love that we are so much alike and that you're here, and I again appreciate you so much. And I just want to lovingly remind you now of some of the principles that I know you've heard before. I know you're striving to live these as I am, but it behooves us, again, to live our very best lives if we are going to be teaching others. Albert Schweitzer said there's 3 ways to teach. The first is by example, the second is by example, the third is by example. It's kind of why I want to go through some of these and talk about beliefs, your beliefs. And then please always think about this through the filter of being a coach, teaching these principles. Because if you don't first teach your clients to believe in themselves, to be able to say, I can do this, unless they first have that belief, they won't succeed at anything. If they think, I can never lose that 100 pounds, I can never lose that 10 pounds, I can never start or grow a successful business, or I can never be a great mom, because I wasn't parented well, and I come with all this baggage because of my mom. You see, all of that is so needs to be eliminated, needs to be changed right at the beginning of what you teach these wonderful clients of yours. So William James said, and he's kind of like the father of psychology if you've read about this, he said, the greatest discovery of my generation is that human beings can alter their lives by altering their beliefs. And we know this, again, it's a loving reminder. But helping your clients believe in themselves is absolutely the first step. And there are many ways you can do that. There's great power in belief. And teach them that this power has fueled heroic deeds since time began. It's energized great inventors and artists and musicians through the ages. It's that same power that's available to them and to us every minute of every day of our lives, and that's the power of belief. What is a belief? It's a sense of certainty about something. If you say, you know what, I'm certain that I am a fine musician, or I'm certain that I am a fine artist, then your sense of certainty will actually orchestrate everything that needs to be orchestrated to help you realize that belief, to bring it into reality. And of course, we know it works the other way. If you say, I'm a terrible musician, or I just can't, I'm a terrible artist, if that's your belief, then you will always fulfill that. And we know this. It's just so, we've learned this through the years. You studied it, I've studied it, but we must teach it. We must teach it in ways that they really understand it. When you believe, my friends, in the deepest recesses of your souls that you're capable of reaching a goal, no matter how crazy or big that goal might be, or that goal might seem to others, that belief, your belief will propel you forward, and it will strengthen you in times of discouragement and in times of failure. And so you need to let your clients know that there will be failure. Plan on it. Lower your expectations for total success. And just know we learn line upon line, precept upon precept, and everything comes a little bit at a time. So, this wonderful mission and this wonderful initiative that we're implementing in 196 nations, I've gotten from several people. Are you kidding? Why don't you just take 20 nations at a time, add 20 a year? I say, well, you know what? I'm almost 68. I don't have that time to be able to do that. And the world is ready. And if we divide this and organize it so that there are many people doing little things, it'll work. And it is working. So back to your belief in yourself. You must have this belief before you can teach it to others. Absolutely. And if you would like, I'd be happy to send you the book, the audio or the written book digitally, Believe It, Become It. Just email me, pfellingham@gmail.com, and I'll send you that book. And you could teach from it. Absolutely. So Dale Carnegie, I'm going to leave this section with one quote. He, of course, was the author of How to Win Friends and Influence People. He said, believe that you'll succeed. Believe it firmly, and then you'll do what is necessary to bring success about. So true. All right. So, you know what? I need to stop and just pause here and say, you know, some people, some especially women, say, well, how can I believe in myself when everything in my history tells me that I am a failure? I've failed at so many things, you know. They've allowed the blows of life actually to multiply their challenges and to really, they believed in their inability to be successful. And so that's one of the things that you need to help them believe in their self-worth. Help them believe that they are absolutely precious, that they're divine, that they're daughters of a God who loves them. And this goes for children too. Now, my first 4 books were parenting books. I have 8 children, 24 grandchildren. So I know something about parenting. And I just want to let you know, and this goes for our children, our spouses, our clients. If the people in your life circle know without a shadow of a doubt that you love them, that they are loved, in the deepest recesses of their beings, they feel loved, you will have succeeded. You will have succeeded on that path of helping them achieve total life excellence, because it begins with that belief, which is a love for yourself in part, right? So as a coach, I admonish you and invite you to take time to help your clients know you care about them. And if you don't really care about them or you don't really love them, get out of the game. Stop coaching. You've got to love them. Very, very important. All right. So many people. I want you also to help your clients understand that they are unique, that they are not just of great worth, which of course they are, and you're going to teach them that, but that they have special skills and talents and gifts, absolutely gifts that are theirs. Some are very patient. Some are wonderful woodworkers, and some are musicians, all these different gifts. Different people have different gifts. Help them find their gifts. Help them find their gifts. Help them learn ways to monetize their gift, and then help them learn how to share their gift with the largest number of people on the planet. Yes. All right. So as a coach, and I'm going back to my notes here, I've got a few notes. It's one of the best gifts you can give to your clients to help them find their passion. And if you don't know how to do that, then in other webinars, I help you learn how to help your clients find their passion. And there are certainly wonderful ways to do that. You know, Janet Atwood, she wrote a wonderful book called The Passion Test. And it's an older book, but it's magnificent. You might want to check that out. The Passion Test by Janet Atwood. But teach them that they don't have to be defeated by anything. And no matter what has happened in their life, no matter how many challenges they have, no matter who is trying to bring them down, and we all have human porcupines in our lives, right? They're difficult to love. But no matter what is happening in their life, teach them that they don't have to be defeated by anything, and that they can enjoy peace of mind boundless energy, compelling confidence, and even improved health every day of their lives. They absolutely can. So I'm sure you have seen people who have gone through life and go through life with, just an unhappiness, just a sadness. And it is seen through their negative attitudes, through their discouragement, through their tones of voice, and through their body language. I know you've seen this. And as they believe in their self-worth, in their gifts, and as they find success in financial abundance, and that's not a prerequisite, but I've learned that that's one of the ways that people can, fulfill their self-worth is feeling good about the way they can contribute to their families financially. But as you help them do this, you'll actually see them, and you could coach them on this, lift themselves, and use a better tone of voice, a more hopeful voice. You've seen people who talk like this, and everything's kind of like Eeyore, and what your job is, in part as a coach, is to help them radiate the light that is within them. It's already in them. They don't have to go searching for joy. They don't have to go searching for the light. They have it within them. They were created with light and joy within them. Teach them these things. Help them feel that from the way you treat them. And I know you'll also teach them about how their habitual thinking creates actual grooves in their minds. When I received my doctorate in human relations, I learned a lot about these principles. And of course, I've been researching and reading for so many decades. I'm a student of life. And the subconscious mind is so powerful. And I won't go into all this, but if you haven't read As a Man Thinketh, go ahead and read that. I urge you to read that. And then to teach those principles. And there's so many books that will help you do that. And Marianne Williamson's books, and William Dyer's books. Dyer. Not Wayne Dyer. You see, this is going to happen to you when you're almost 68. Sometimes it's just gone, but it's Wayne Dyer. And there's so many wonderful books. But if you're not a student of how we think, and then also how we can create new grooves in our in our minds, and it's really in the brains. When you look at the brain, you can see these grooves made from habitual thinking. The good thinking, the negative thinking, and the good news is that that negative thinking can be changed easily. It doesn't take a lot of time. It takes great desire and habitual work on changing, and it can be done pretty quickly. That's great news. But it all begins with believing in yourself and your ability also as a coach. And then you can teach your clients how to truly believe in themselves. You want them to be able to say, I can do this. And I wanted to insert my sweet friend Marianne's quote right here that I know you have heard, but I want you to just take a minute and just think as I speak this quote. Just think about it. Think of these words. So Marianne Williamson said, our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. What is it? Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, she said, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small doesn't serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that others won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We are born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. Close quote. Teach that. So stand strong and take your place among those who lift and love and lead others. The world needs your loving and lifting and leading more than ever before, my friend. There are so many people, millions of them, yearning for you, for your help, to know what you know. I promise. I've seen them. I've been with them. I've ached because there are so many. And we need to get out there as fast as possible. We do. All right, so I'd like to talk to you about the 10 qualities of a highly effective coach. And I wrote this as an article, actually, 10 qualities of a highly effective leader. Is it not the same thing? Yes. So number 1, stand up, step forward, and lead out fearlessly. You already are a coach. You already are a leader. By definition, you're a leader if you're a coach, right? You don't need to wait for someone to give you permission to lead. Decide where you want to go, with whom you want to go, and start moving quickly. Number 2, love those you lead and those you serve. And of course, I mentioned this before. Think loving thoughts. Say loving words. Do loving deeds. Don't be timid. The world needs more genuine love. When you sincerely love others, they'll feel it and they'll follow. They'll feel it and they'll follow. If you haven't read Marianne Williamson's book, Return to Love, I invite you to please run. Don't walk. Go get that book and read it. Return to Love. Number 3, these are the 10 qualities of highly effective leaders and coaches. Number 3, have a great vision and collaborate with others. With a great vision and superb goals that attract others, you can touch hearts and change lives on a massive scale. Reach out to connect and collaborate with others, like-minded, like-hearted coaches. Collaboration, learning from others, is a key to success, truly. And I applaud you because that's exactly what you're doing. You're on this webinar learning how to improve your skills as a coach. Thank you again for coming. Number 4, listen to your heart, but don't ignore your followers, your clients. So your heart will always tell you where to go and where not to go, right? That gut, that heart. But you must listen carefully and pay attention to the voices of those you're leading. But in the end, trust your heart. Your heart trumps the voices of others. You know this is true. Number 5, make wise decisions so you lead in the right direction. That's right. Use a variety of resources to make your decisions. And as you coach, speak to others who have walked your path, study, research, ask, and always keep your heart open to new information, which I'm preaching to the choir because here you are doing that, but continue to do that. Number 6, and I love this one, be flexible and cheerful. You know, your ability to just not sweat the small stuff is an indication of your strength of character, and you need to teach this to your clients. And don't take their problems home with you. I know it's hard to do. I was a life coach for a long time, and I'd think about it, and I'd cry, and I'd share, you know, my heart with my husband sometimes, who never tells anybody anything, just to get some of his feedback, because he's so brilliant. And he's, we met when we were 12. We've been married 45 years, and has his PhD, but very brilliant. But as I say that, of course you don't share confidences with anyone that you ever, I mean, you know, I only told him a tiny piece if I needed his mentorship. But other than that, like 99% of the time, I never shared anything, which you shouldn't. You absolutely should never. And that's like the code for coaches, right? But I want to really let you know that you need to let the problems of your clients stay in the office, stay there. And when you walk out and you shut those doors, when I walk out through these doors right here, you can see out of my office, because I'm just in my office right now, then I let it go. I am the mama, I'm the wife, I'm the Grammy, the zippity-doo-dah Grammy, and I have learned through the years that that's critically important to my well-being. And I admonish you to please leave your clients' challenges where they belong and don't integrate them. All right, so just don't sweat the small stuff and teach them not to. Number 7, take care of yourself. As a coach, sometimes we run so fast, so hard, so long that we forget that we need to take care of ourselves, you know? Pay attention to your body's warning signs. And who suffers? You suffer, but also your clients suffer. So do something that you really love every day, even if it's for just a minute, and take care of your body, your physical body. All right, number 8, be a thought leader in your field. Don't just do what others do. Take all the input and think about it. In my world, I'd pray about it. You might be meditating about the information you receive from books and online and from others and people like me, and then do it your way. What feels right for you, of course. And then add to the knowledge by continuing to be a thought leader. You know, it's one thing to lead others down a well-beaten path, and it's another to break ground as a thought leader in your field. Take time to learn and to ponder, meditate, ask great questions, and become a leader whose ideas are new and relevant. Number 9, and this is my favorite. Let your light shine. Yes, you have a big, beautiful, wonderful light. I know you do. And you need to confidently and joyfully shine. You are being watched carefully by those who are in your life circle. You're very influential as a coach, and they watch you carefully, more than you even might think. Your actions and your decisions are scrutinized. So shine your light as brightly as possible. Hold it high with confidence and joy for all the world to see. Sometimes I say, go light the world. And number 10 is to give, give, give. But never, never, never give up. And that's the famous quote by Winston Churchill. Celebrate others, lift others, love others, give to others with no thought of reward. It can't be about the money. Of course you're earning money for your coaching, and you need to do that. But instead of being driven by that, I invite you to be other-centered versus being self-centered, and to keep giving no matter what. And when you're tired and you're discouraged, and you will be, and used up, remember that genuine leaders do stop and rest, but they never, never, never give up. So let's talk about how to make your programs, how to come up with a perfect title and the perfect content for your program. You need to do something that you are very, you have a great level of expertise with. When you're in a position of teaching others, don't just fly by the seat of your pants. Do your research, become an expert, learn about that before you teach others. So come up with a perfect title that feels right to you. I often send out like monkey survey. Yeah, it's online. And these are third-party people who might give me feedback. After I go to my friends and my family, I get as much research in and get as much input from other people. And then I make the content, and I don't always, create the title. I don't always put out the title Excuse me, that was a sneeze. How embarrassing. That's my first sneeze in a webinar. I apologize. So I don't always, I take the input from others and I take my heart, but I don't always put out the title that I thought of. Because if everybody comes up with, better titles, and even if you might not love the title, put it out there, test it, see if as many people love it as you try to sell it as loved it when you sent out the survey. But you must research. You can't just come up with titles that you don't even know if people are going to respond to them. So do your research. Ask. So true. All right. So it's very, very important, again, that you teach what you're an expert in, and don't try to teach something that you don't really know a lot about. Also, get a mentor. And I'm mentoring you, thank you very much, but get others to look at other life coaches, people who have been life coaches and mentors. Ask them, what worked for you? What didn't work? Because all of us have things at which we've failed, and those taught us the greatest life lessons. I know you know that's true. So another thing is to go online. There's a plethora of wonderful programs online from which you can learn. So look at that, and don't ever copy, but get an idea from someone and then give it your own voice in authenticity. Like I came up with Total Life Excellence because for so many years, 25 years, I was a parenting expert. And I got my doctorate, and it took me a different direction because it's in human relations, and I wrote the book, Believe It, Become It. And then I was on the air. I started writing programs of how to start and grow a business when I started going out there globally and seeing that people really needed financial stability. And I started writing all these programs and doing all this. But somebody would say, well, how could you possibly be a parenting expert and a self-mastery expert, and you help people start and grow their businesses, and you've got this, that. And so I thought, well, how can I do it under an umbrella that really speaks to all the things that I have created in all these decades? And so it became Total Life Excellence. And I was so thrilled when totallifeexcellence.com was available. And it's perfect for me. What's perfect for you? What is it that you would like? So think about that. All right. How to deliver your content to your clients for maximum effectiveness. I'd like to first suggest that you be very, very, very authentic. That you be you. That you're not trying to be somebody else. And as you deliver it, then you're so comfortable doing it because that's you. That's the way that you talk, the way that you act, the way that you present yourself. And so be authentic. Use passion and all the things that I'm going to share with you in a minute. The things that make you really a great presenter are also some of the things that will help you be a really great coach. And so I'd like to share those with you in just a minute. So how do you decide what type of program you should produce is really based on what do people need. If you're the 100 millionth person who is out there talking about the exact same thing that everybody else is talking about, that was kind of a high number, wasn't it? Then don't do that. Get something else that people don't, that you don't hear about over and over and over again. Okay, think about that. What is it? And here's another thought. You might be from another country, and maybe you should think, wow, there are so many people in the United States singing that same song, playing on that same string. Maybe I need to take my material, and because I can do this online through Zoom, which I love, then you could teach people in so many different nations as a coach and have the conversation back and forth and back and forth. Don't limit yourself to America. Don't limit yourself to America. You couldn't even have done that years and years ago, but now look at this. Look how such high quality this is. And it could be interactive. I meet with my regional directors and my peace ambassadors, my national peace ambassadors, my primary team, my executive team, my advisory board, all with this initiative, the one I told you about, the Prosperity and Peace Initiative, all through Zoom. And they talk, I talk, they chat, they can write their thoughts, and then they can come on, everybody can hear them. All the names are labeled. It's fabulous. You can do group coaching using Zoom, online, record it all, and have it play over and over and over again. And they can even listen to it at their leisure. It's like a miracle. It's so amazing. So don't just limit yourself to wherever you live, Phoenix or San Diego or Milwaukee, you know. Think, wow, I could be talking to people in English in India, in Singapore, in Canada, so many nations. Just consider that. All right. So to niche or not to niche, let's talk about that. There's pluses and minuses to both of those. If you niche, like you'd say, I'm going to teach just women over 50. There are 42 million of those women right now in America. If you just had 1% of those, you'd be doing great. So is that what you'd like to do? Do you want to niche to teenage boys? Do you want to niche to men in their 20s? Or what is your niche? Think about that. Because we have the internet and Zoom and Skype and so many wonderful tools, you really can gather a lot of people within a small niche, because you want to do this globally. I promise you, they're out there wanting you. Again, you might be saying, Paula, you know, I don't want to go global. That's great. That's wonderful. I want to let you know that there's a huge opportunity out there for other nations, and like the whole Middle East. I was just talking to my dear friend, Susan Furness, who's in Dubai. We talked for a long time this morning, and she has told me in the past that they're about 20, 25 years behind us as far as just entrepreneurship, starting and growing businesses. So we are promoting our official entrepreneur certification throughout the whole Middle East as part of our Total Life Excellence. But just that one program will take off and do very well, we know. And so do your homework and see what nations need what I have right now, and study that. And also Google, here's another help. Don't worry about the translation part. So many speak English. There's enough that speak English, who speak English, that you don't need to worry about that. But when you do want to know about that, just Google translation services. We just found out that for unlimited translations into 177 languages, that you could pay just $15.95 a month. It's amazing. And all of this has happened just in the last few years. So don't be discouraged or worry about you can't communicate, because that is not as big of a problem as it used to be in years past. And more solutions are popping up every day. All right. So how to promote your coaching program on a budget. These are all, I'm addressing all the bullets in the webinar marketing that we told you I'd address. So how to promote on a budget. Oh, I'm the queen of this. I've learned how to do this through the years. Oh my goodness. For those, remember the 8 children and 24 grandchildren. And my husband's a teacher at a university. And we've had to be real creative how we do this. But it's so, it was so interesting when I learned the power of online. And one of my friends, Melanie Huscroft, who owns Unique, and she made this public in a magazine article, but they made over $265 million just last year. It was like her 4th year in business. It's Unique, and it's a multi-level marketing company. And I'm not involved with that other than she's my friend. But I wanted to let you know that Melanie said to me, she said, Paula, while you're getting on airplanes and you know, going and speaking to 100, 200, 500, 600 women in these global women's summits that you're putting on all over the world for all these years, I'm going online and I'm creating virtual groups who talk to each other and help each other, and it's free. are very inexpensive, and I can talk to millions while you're talking to hundreds. And she's right. And at the same time, I said to her, but Melanie, there's something that you can't substitute. The heart to heart, the spirit in a room, the touching, the sharing. And so I still believe in live events, but I'm doing more and more online because it works. Yeah. And you can meet, work with so many people and touch more hearts. So then Facebook ads. Have you looked into Facebook ads? They don't cost that much. Facebook followers, get online, see if you could write for newspapers. I had a newspaper column for a long time. A lot of people would contact me, and I, created this database of wonderful people. I have a warm database of about 40,000. When we went from Constant Contact to Infusionsoft years and years ago, we lost 86,000 names and all their data, because that just hurt my heart. I cried. But there are details to that I won't go into. But, we just opted out 2 or 3 times, and we didn't really know what we were doing at all, and lost all that data and started again. But that's what you do, right? So look into promoting online. And then also look, if you have a budget for this, look into direct sales. Now, direct sales, not direct sales, it's direct sales, but you send letters or postcards. And it used to be that everybody got so many of these that nobody used them. And now, not very many people use these. And so it's becoming more and more popular. If you can make them look very authentic and speak from your heart, it comes right into their home. And, that's something to consider. Some of my friends are doing that and finding success. I've not done that for many, many years. I used to. Okay, how to create interactive content that will keep your clients engaged to the end of your program. And again, Zoom. This is the best way. See, you could see me so clearly. And I'm, using some notes, of course. You could see me checking my notes. But mostly I'm looking at you, I'm sharing. And if I wasn't teaching, I was just talking to you, a coach to a client, then I wouldn't have any notes. I'd just be talking straight to you, heart to heart, eye to eye. And you can hear me so clearly. There's no delay. And again, like I said before, you can coach many at a time. But it's interactive. They can speak. You could, in your coaching, they can chat, and then you could follow up with the email. But really, interactive coaching is online is so possible now. But when you write your content, use the word you instead of they. That's another way to have them feel like it's interactive. Speak in yous. I've been talking right to you. I haven't been saying, and coaches need to do this, and then when they do that. No, use that you and I and be personal. Well, that's one of the keys. So ask them questions that make them really think. Give them homework. You know to do this. You give them, as a coach, you give them an assignment every time so that when they come back, they're all giving you, this is how I did it. This is what I worked on. These were my results. This is my successes. These were my failures. And then, of course, you discuss those with them. But perhaps the biggest key on this is to be them. Try to be them with their needs and their failures and their successes, but their desires. Try to put yourself in their position. And I know that's just a wonderful key to success for the best mentors that I know, and I know many wonderful mentors. So how to price your programs? Well, how do you do this? How do you do it now? What I do is I research again. I'm big into research. I see what are other people doing that are successful. I learn from them, but then I don't just take their price points. I think, what is this really worth? What would I pay for this? And then I take it down a little bit, and I try to make mine less expensive than others. It's just, I don't ever want somebody to say, gosh, I just couldn't afford to work with you, Paula. That hurts my heart. And you'll get people that will do that. And you can't take everyone pro bono, of course you can't. But you help them maybe with a complimentary session that could teach them how to earn the money so that they could afford you. But make your prices fairly reasonable so that you really are able to not feel like you're overpriced. Okay, so yes, talking about your pricing. Now, it used to be that everybody sold their books, and we just charged them the price of the book. Well, now there's something that's really working better. You give your book free online and or free hard copy, and you only charge them the price of the shipping and handling if it comes to you hard copy. And Brendon Burchard is an expert at this. He says, I'll give you all my materials free, and then you just pay shipping and handling. But I guarantee you no one who is one of these experts that's doing this, they're not losing money on this because they have their books printed in such bulk. Even my books, they're $2 to print, $1.48 for my Believe It, Become It. And then when you sell that, when you give it away free, and then you add the tax and the handling, shipping and handling, and then you can still put in 50 cents there or $1, however much you want to in integrity. And then, you're paying at least for the price of the books printing and the shipping and the handling, and you don't go in the hole. All right, so also see what's working. Really see what's working out there, and then follow your heart. The internet is such an amazing resource for research. Absolutely. And I'd like to suggest that you fail fast. You know what I mean. You go out and you try something, and if it doesn't work, that didn't work. So figure it out quickly, change the price or change what you're doing, change, if you can easily, especially, and then, fail fast and then learn what does work and go with that. I'm so big into testing, and you should be too. All right, so how to build a bigger practice every month and every year while putting in fewer hours. Well, you know what? How to build it. Do it with the most number of people that you can. And I already addressed this, but, use testimonials. Have some of the people with whom you've worked write what they've, how you have helped them from their heart. And I have pages and pages and pages and pages of these. And it's important that you do this. You could go to paulafellingham.com. And I stopped after, about 100 because we just thought that, well, there's enough. They get it. Nobody's going to scroll this long anyway. So just go to paulafellingham.com and click on testimonials. You kind of see how I did it. But that gives people assurances that they'll be able to come on board because so many others had success. But cross-promote with others, do affiliate collaborations, and that works well. Reach out to others who are in your space and find ways to collaborate to create those win-wins. I love that. Okay, how to determine whether or not you should offer VIP options. Absolutely you should. So you offer a low price and then you upsell. And I know you've heard of this, but don't be afraid. When you see that there are some clients who are ready for more, who are willing to pay more to have you one-on-one, or to have you maybe to come to a retreat that has just a small number of women or men, my default. But there are lots of options. Like some women say, ooh, I want to go to Dubai with you. Well, that's an upsell. That's a big upsell, because then they will be able to meet these magnificent people and see how, the connections are really the biggest thing, because we know it really is about who you know. And I could take people with me, and I do, but it is an upsell. It's something that they do. It's not just my general, this is what you get for being a member of the whatever it is that I'm doing at that point. So masterminds, retreats, about upsells, and I invite you to add that to your repertoire if you aren't already. So how to offer VIP options efficiently without adding hours and hours to your weekly fulfillment schedule? Well, think about traveling. If someone comes with me, I'm not spending any more time with them, but any more time that I would regularly spend, but I'm spending more time with them, but it's doing something I'm already doing. So I've got a 12-hour flight with maybe 2 women who said, yes, we want to go with you to Singapore, or to Malaysia, or to Beijing. And then we go together, I introduce them, and that's an upsell, but it's efficient because I'm already going, right? So they just come with me. Think about a mastermind group. It's not any more time of yours than just teaching one person, but if you put them in a group, but it's a small group, and you give them, it's the same time you would be spending teaching one person you teach instead in a mastermind, but you make more money. Retreats, inner circles, there's so many options for upsells. How to fall in love with coaching again and make it your career for the rest of your life. So here's my ideas on that. Choose the right clients. Some of the people who are mentors and coaches, they're at the mercy of the people who will pay them. Don't do that. Choose your clients. Let the ones go that you really would rather not work with. You be the one in charge of this. So choose the right clients. Don't just take anybody who will pay you what you ask. Be discriminating and choose only those clients that you want to work with. Some people are just simply difficult, and life is too short. And yes, you want to help them. But again, if you could choose clients who aren't, I would prefer that. And it's much easier on your heart. It's just my advice. Not everybody would agree with this, perhaps, but yes, I want to help everyone, but there are only 24 hours in a day. And I'm to the point in my career where I choose the people, especially the women with whom I work. Yeah. So what I've also learned is some of the clients aren't teachable. And you have, in your agreement with them, you must be able to say that you can opt out, that you could say, you know what, you aren't doing the things that I asked you to do and that we agreed together that you would do. And I feel like you're wasting your time and my time, because every week we're just talking about the same things. See, I wouldn't do that. At some point, if they're not teachable, if they're not going to make the changes, then I need to be able to be released from that agreement. And so put that in your agreement with them. And you must have an agreement. You must have something that has a hold harmless clause. That means that they won't sue you. You must have an agreement with all your clients. Absolutely. So how do you fall in love with coaching again? Have people you're working with who you love, that you just love being with and helping because they're teachable, they're doing it, you're getting along, they are, it's working. And listen to them. And this is so, so important. Sometimes you want to teach too much, talk so much because you have so much to share, but listening. And I guarantee you'll enjoy your client and mentor relationship more if you listen more. Let's try listening. Really, really listening also to the things they're not saying. And I know you know these things. But be creative, be very personal, be consistent, and ask them, what do you really need? What do you really want? And again, read between the lines, and that's by listening. And then being, having that gift of intuition and discernment, and try to develop that gift. All right, so I wanted to talk to you about speaking tips and coaching tips, and I'm going to say this very quickly because we're at the end of our time together. I'm going to go over a little bit here, these are coaching tips. You must have fire in your belly. You must speak and teach with conviction and passion and energy, with your whole body. Have focus. Don't wing it. Make sure you know what you're going to teach. Perform. Be interesting as a coach. Use your voice, the highs, the lows, the softs, the louder, and be an interesting coach. 4 is use color, voice color, body color, energy color. 5, learn to use your eyes. Open your eyes. Talk to them like this. Use your face. Speak in Technicolor. Be animated. And that actually is the next couple of ones. Use your face, and that's 6, and 7 is use the rest of your body to gesture, pause, be deliberate. Number 9 is to really exemplify what it is you want them to do. That talks a lot as far as speaking with authority. I go on with that. Number 9, involve them as much as possible. Again, listen, and respond to the things that they're not saying too. And then practice. I'm a way better coach now than I was in the very beginning, because with everything, there's a learning curve. So don't beat yourself up if you've listened to some of these things and said, oh, I don't do that. This is why you're watching this webinar. And I know there are some of you who say, yes, I know most of this, but thank you, Paula, for these additional insights. And just continue practicing. All right, so just some very quick online tips. Be sure that you have a professional business page on Facebook. Yes, very important. Create an opt-in offer that will help you build your email list. That's very important. Free and valuable, use the right words, but there's so many people out there who have fabulous content from which you can learn. So at the bottom line, if you create a great relationship with your magnificent clients and the ones that you've chosen to work with, and you have a dear relationship, and they trust you, and you are doing your research, and you're doing your work, and you're thinking about them, and in my world, praying about them, and for them, and really working on a close relationship, a connection, heart to heart with your clients, then what you are teaching is going to sink deep into their hearts, and it will change their lives. You'll be a magnificent change agent in addition to being a magnificent mentor. So I'd like to leave with a quote by Mother Teresa. And it's the bottom line in my world to all of this. She said, spread love wherever you go. First of all, in your own home. Give love to your husband, your wife, your children, your next door neighbor. Here's my favorite line and my favorite quote. She said, let no one ever come to you without leaving better and happier. Be the living expression of God's kindness. Kindness in your face, kindness in your smile, kindness in your warm greeting. Close quote. And may you be blessed in your efforts to be a coach that changes lives, to be a mentor that people look to and who people emulate. So then as they learn the principles that you teach, then they can go out and shine and light the world as you do. Thank you, and God bless.